Hello, my name is Matt Slovak. We're outside the studios of 93 Country, KWCC, and KWPC, AM at 60. We're going to go inside for a tour today. Let's come on over.
Hey, look who's here this morning. Look, girls, Matt Slovak.
Hi!
Hello.
Hey, glad to see you out at the radio station. I'll close the door here. We're always happy to have people come out to the radio station. You know, a lot of people don't get to see the Muscatine Community Radio Station in action. My name's John Schwanke. I'm the manager. I own it too, along with my wife. She lets me kind of run it. This is Sonia Taylor. She's our traffic manager. And that's Muriel. And Muriel is our office help also. Sonia, tell them what a traffic manager does.
What a traffic manager does is I basically control all the commercials that go over the air, all the music that plays on the air, and just make sure everything's getting played at the right times and all the commercials are being heard and that the music is all up to key.
What's Muriel doing right now?
What are you doing, Mira?
Matt, come on over here, and this is our traffic computer. I'll turn down. We listen to this Muscatine radio station all the time. It plays kind of loud. We like it.
Pretty good music.
So-
Right now, I'm just putting commercials in for the log to run Monday. Finding a place for each of them.
See, what a lot of people don't realize is they think that a radio announcer has a really great job, that they just come into the radio station and pick out the music they want to play and then every once in a while play a commercial. But in reality, it's all very much controlled. You have to have a way to link the advertiser, the sales department, and the on-air together. And that's basically what the traffic does. So what we call the log is there's a page for each and every hour, and it tells what time a commercial's supposed to play, what time to read the weather, what time the news starts, and it's very carefully controlled. But a good radio announcer just makes it sound like it's just happening. But this is a real full-time job because there's two radio stations, 93.1 FM and AM 860, and they have to do the log for each one. And they keep all the records and all the correspondence for the business, and it's the business office. It's the hub. It's like the center wheel. Everything revolves around the traffic office. Also, we're very proud of the fact that all the furniture you see in our radio station is locally produced Muscatine Han Industries furniture. We love it. It's so functional.
That's where I work.
Is it? Now, this radio station, KWPC, just ended its 50th anniversary of broadcast. It started in 1947. And this is an old farmhouse on Mulberry Avenue in Muscatine. And George Volger started it. And when I was a kid, because I was born and raised in Muscatine, this was a farmhouse and there was cattle grazing around it. And so as we tour through today, Matt, we're inside of a house, a farmhouse that's been converted into a radio station. And then 2 years ago, in 1996, we added an FM station, country music, KWCC. And it's the most modern radio station between Chicago and Denver, fully digital. I'll show you that in a little. You want to go see? I'll show you where we do the talk studio, where we do the talk shows. You come right through here. By the way, I don't know if this will show up, but the Federal Communications Commission did an inspection of our radio station in 1997, and we passed with glowing colors. And they said, to the best of our combined knowledge, this operation is in FCC regulatory compliance, personnel are qualified, experienced, and exhibit an extraordinary pride in the performance of their responsibilities. And I agree with that, because we got some wonderful people that work here at the radio station. This is what we call the talk studio, and actually, today that you're recording this, Matt, I just got done doing my Coffee Club talk show. And if you want to kind of pan the room, right here on this monitor, it is mirroring what is on KWPC, the AM radio station. Right now, the announcer that's on the air is looking at the forecast that he'll be reading in just a little bit. But when I'm doing my talk show, when people call in on the incoming lines that we have, it will show me who's on what line and briefly what subject they want to talk about, and that's how I can welcome them to the show by name and kind of know in advance what they want to talk about. This is the microphone I use, and this is the phone that the callers come in on. This is a microphone that will pick up in a circular pattern when we have guests on the air. They're using this one. To your left is FM 93 CC that you can see through the glass, and we'll go in there next. And this studio that we're in, the radio stations, because either radio station might be hooking up to it. And then through this glass over here is AM 860. And that's Eric Brinks.
This is new from Rod Stewart. It's called Ooh La La.
So we've got a monitor speaker in here that I can listen to either radio station. This is what KWPC is doing right now. And here's the FM. Tell you, I don't think you could have two more differently sounding radio stations, but that's what we want. And I'll take you into the studio so you can see what it looks like from behind the glass. There's always little forehead and handprints around here. We like to give tours of the radio station, and people do get kind of fascinated looking through the window, and they lean their heads on the glass and everything else, so we got to clean the glass off. But that's great. Now as you come on through this door, you'll see our newsroom. It's very modern, it's very well equipped. KWPC News Department is the most recognized, the most award-winning news department in all of Iowa radio. Kristen McHugh, our news director, and the team that she's put together has just done a marvelous job, and we're very fortunate in the quality news that we have. Constantly press and the Iowa news broadcasters and all of that kind of thing for the good work that she does. We've even been voted the best overall radio newscast in all of Iowa too. If you listen to the news on KWPC and they say we now go to the newsroom, the news is actually presented from the newsroom. So this is a combination of a news gathering center, and it's also a broadcast booth, because this mixing board will bring in all different audio sources, and then she uses this microphone to broadcast the news with. Now I'm going to have Tim Scott. He is our operations director and chief engineer. He's a very valuable person. He literally built KWCC by himself. And he, right here in-house, we don't have to send out to contract engineers or send out to manufacturers to repair our equipment. Tim just maintains it and repairs it here. We recently have upgraded the news department. It's fully computerized. When we record an interview for news, whether it's over the telephone or live, whatever, it's actually recorded into the computer. And we are almost a paperless newsroom, although we do have a printer here if for some reason we want a hard copy printout to keep for filing or something. The newscasts are read from a scrolling prompter that's similar to the way television news is done. And Tim, well, Tim, say hi to everybody.
Hello.
Tim Scott. How long have you been at the radio station, Tim? Do you remember what year you started? You were in high school, I know.
1976.
1976.
The year I was born.
Yeah, there you go, Tim. Makes you feel young, doesn't
A
it?
long time ago. The wires portion of this, as John was explaining, Associated Press, satellite dish, constantly also filters stories into the computer. So a story just filtered in, as a matter of fact, about stock transactions, but there's everything from weather, sports, agriculture information, lifestyle features, special events, and more that all come into this computer. So self-contained, wave files for the audio, prompter feature like TV stations use, and wire service as well, all in this computer.
Now, also, Matt, you know, again, as a Muscatine business, we like to do business with Muscatine businesses. And I told you that all of the furniture is Han. When you look at all of our custom-made cabinetry, like this specially made console area here and what you'll see in the studios, VH Willis in Muscatine made all those for us. So there's, we can literally get everything that we need, even though it would be considered custom broadcast materials made right here in Muscatine. We're really fortunate. Come on, we'll show you where Tim normally hangs out. We call it engineering. Get a good shot of my bald spot, will you? There you go.
Tom Campbell's here.
Tom Campbell's here to do conservation notes. Well,
Hi, Tom.
Hi, Tom. Come on in. We're taping some video.
Okay.
This is Matt Slovak.
Hi, Matt.
He's a community programmer for TCI, and
Okay.
he's taking a tour of the radio station.
Okay.
So Tom, our good DNR guy, comes out to the radio station every Friday,
Yep.
and he and Tim do conservation notes program,
Right.
which we get a lot of good feedback on. People,
I do too.
Yeah.
In fact, I just had a comment last week. A guy had asked me a question regarding some information that I had put on the radio. So
That's
I
good.
did get some comments too.
This room that we're in is a real multi-purpose. This is a small production studio, recording studio. Either name is okay. We call it production. And I'll show you the second one, which is more sophisticated, I think would be the word. This is a nice, simple one that people from the community can come in and record things on. It's pretty simple to work, but it's very nice. Many radio stations I've been in, this is basically all that they have. And so Tom's getting ready to record. And then this area over here is where Tim repairs and maintains the equipment. This is his work corner, which, Tim, this is about the neatest I've seen your work corner look.
Well, I was told, John, to neaten it up a little bit by you because cable was coming out. So yeah, normally when Tom comes in, I'm working with tools and I've got a big mess back here, but
Now, why don't you take Matt in and show him the transmitter room? Most people don't get to see this.
okay.
And it's a little noisy in there because it's all climate controlled. The humidity and the temperature and everything is maintained the same. But if Tim shouts loud enough, you can show him what's in there.
Right. This is as you can see here, maybe through the window, this is a double, maybe even a triple thickness wall. It's a soundproof wall. And you'll see why when we get in here. And come on in. Coming in. Okay. We shut the door here. This is a climate controlled area in this room. It has to be that way because we have a lot of equipment back here that generates a lot of heat in this area. The first unit you see here is the FM transmitter. It's a relatively new unit. It's about 2 years old. The station's been on the air 2 years. Our FM station, KWCC. This is a solid state transmitter. It contains no tubes. There are no tubes inside of it. There are amplifier drawers. Each one of these drawers is an amplifier section. So for instance, if an amplifier goes out on us, it really doesn't affect the operation of the station. The other amplifiers just pick up where this one left off. As a matter of fact, this is such a versatile unit, Matt, if you back up, we can actually take an amplifier drawer out of the transmitter, pull it out and disable it, and see that our forward power is still almost 100%. So it's a very versatile unit. To enable it again, you simply plug it back in, reset it back to full 100% power. This exciter in the transmitter is also pretty revolutionary. It's a digital exciter. It accepts what's called a digital audio input. I'll explain more about that in just a moment. continuing on in the transmitter room, this is the audio processing for our FM station. It gives the station the sound that it has, and it's a tailor-made sound that normally the chief engineer, such as myself, sets up. This unit right here is about a $11,000 unit, and it's also pretty revolutionary. It's a digital unit. It has an analog input, comes from the FM studio, does the audio processing, and then digital out from this unit goes over to the FM transmitter. So it's all digitally encoded. It's a form of zeros and ones. It's a perfectly clean signal. There's no noise to it. Up here in the rack we have some satellite receiver equipment that we receive feeds from our satellite dishes in the backyard, such as Hawkeye Network, USA Radio Network News are all done on the satellite receivers here in the unit, much as you guys have a TCI cable as well. You have a lot of the same receivers. These units over here are the AM transmitters. There's the main transmitter that's on the air now. This is the auxiliary transmitter or backup transmitter. And this is the AM audio processing. Much like a tone control on your stereo, but yet a lot more complicated. Makes the station sound like it does. Now we're also broadcasting in AM stereo. Some vehicles have radios that can receive the AM stereo signal. And it's a really nice sounding station. Broadcasting in stereo gives a great effect on the air. This is the tower area that we're at now. We're standing at the base of the actual broadcast tower. I'll show you around outside here first, Matt. If you want to get a picture of the tower and maybe pan up the tower. If you can go clear to the top, Matt, you'll see two sets of antennas up there. The very top antenna is the FM station antenna, and the antenna just below that you just saw when Matt was panned up the tower was a TV station antenna. We have a TV station out here as well. Trinity Broadcasting is also on this tower. Now the whole tower itself is the AM station, and underneath the ground that you can't see is also a series of wires going out underneath the ground, just as tall as the tower is. You need that to make an AM antenna. You need what's called a ground plane under the ground. You also need the tower, which is called the radiator. And I'll show you around a little bit out here. See a big piece of copper tubing here. This is actually hot right now. This is the AM signal, and if I were to touch this, I'd be pretty badly hurt. We've got a lot of signs around here, danger, keep away. And this is the hot signal of the AM coming on this big copper tube right here, and it's bonded directly to the tower itself. And that's what excites the tower, or makes it broadcast the AM signal. These straps down here we can touch. These are copper straps. These are grounding straps. They go into the earth. And like I said, there are wires in the ground that go out just as tall as the tower is. That's the other part of the AM antenna, and this is ground, so we can touch this and not get hurt. This piece of copper actually is bonded to the base of the tower, and it goes clear back inside the radio station even, and the transmitters physically sit on it, and they're bonded to this same copper strap. Now that's for lightning purposes. Inside of this bucket here that says high voltage, stay away, you can see one of the arms here. There's another arm here coming from the hot side of the tower. And what it looks like inside this bucket, Matt, is two arms with two balls on each end of the arm, and it looks something like this. And when we get hit by lightning out here at the radio station, what we hope will happen, and happens most of the time, is the lightning jumps between this real close area. It's about a thickness of an album cover, and that's what stops the equipment from getting damaged. It goes snap right to ground, from the outside to the ground side right here. Over here, Matt, Inside I showed you the coax of the FM station, its feed line coming out of the transmitter. Well, here it comes right out of the ground. And it goes into a isolation coil here that isolates it from the broadcast tower. Goes out of the coil, and again another coax clear up to the very top to the FM antennas. Down in the basement of the radio station, you may have noticed that a lot of people, you may be watching this video and say, well, I don't see any wires hanging around everywhere. It's a radio station. Where are all the wires at? The wires are down here in the basement. Here are some of the wiring right here for the newsroom. And if you continue down, you'll have to be a little bit careful, Matt, of your head there in the camera. You're such a tall guy.
Is this where Al Capone's safe is buried?
This is where, yeah, Al Capone is down here somewhere, it's been rumored. But if you look at this wall, Matt, this is where we hide all the wiring at. Most of it's hidden under the consoles, and we dress it up and tuck it up real nice and neat. But there does need to be a central location for all the wiring to appear at, and this is where it's at. It's in the basement where it's out of sight to people. And each studio has a separate punch block system. The various studios all appear down here, and if we want to add anything like a new network or something, it's real easy. The way I've got it designed, we just simply come down here, punch in the new network feed, and then route it around to the different studios.
Hopefully.
This is just one of two production studios we have here at the radio station. This is the favorite amongst our disc jockeys, though, because it can do more things than the other production studio. But we have an 8-channel board here with equalization on it. Here we can speed up tapes and do sound effects and everything from here. In fact, we have our own sound effects library. Plus, we have this little instrument here that we can change, instruments, sound effects, and we can make our own little creative bed, music bed, that is, for our commercials. So we make a lot of our own music for the background of the commercials, and we kind of gotten away from these tapes, though we seldom use these. We still keep them. They're the old carts that were popular for many years, but now kind of defunct and replaced by our computer system here, which we can bring up and install our commercials on the computer, and as the AM station and the FM station require, it draws from the computer at given times.
Now, in the radio station, when you see a red light on like that, Matt, it means don't enter, because the announcer's microphone is actually live and he's talking. But we're gonna go in real quiet.
On the rise this morning, now at 29.61. We have sunshine and 73 at 7 minutes past 11. And that is your latest weather, brought to you by Mrs. B's at the Burns Brothers Travel Stop. How are you?
Hi, Eric.
Hi.
This is Eric Brinks. He's our sports director, and he does the midday shift on KWPC. Now, do you have to do the news yourself today, or? Oh no, the news, it's the wrong hour for the
next
news.
hour. Yeah, I will be doing it probably.
That's great, honey. Now you can go fishing.
If you're gonna get your husband to help, get your husband to help with the
So this is what his computer system looks like.
have a burger. A Hardee's Big Deluxe.
So
for
the
just
Hardee's
99
commercial
cents
is
plus
playing
tax.
right now.
Juicy, tender beef.
You can see how many
processed in
seconds that are left.
with pickle,
Then Doug Bemis will
tomato,
play,
lettuce,
Hook's Melon
mustard,
Shed,
ketchup, and mayo.
Central State Bank,
99-cent Big
and then
Deluxe.
it's going to sing a
For
little
limited time only
song
at
about
participating Hardee's
KWPC.
restaurants.
A jingle?
Yep.
If you're gonna go all out.
You just missed the
Hi, this is
TCI
Jake Olson,
commercial.
sales manager at Doug Bemis Auto Mall. Right now we are all
Just missed the TCI commercial. Now, all of that, things that we were talking about when you first came in, and we were in the traffic office, and she was explaining about logs. Well, this is what one looks like. And right now, as this is being recorded, we're in the 11 o'clock morning hour, and it's, what, about 11:08 right now. So the USA Network News just got done, and he was reading the weather when we came in. So here's Hardee's, Doug Bemis, Hoops, Central State Bank. And then he's going to go to music, and he may talk a little bit. Are you going to talk before you
I
go?
was going to play that jingle into the music.
Okay, so he's going to go straight from the jingle into the music. But this is what the log looks like. Now, not only is it on paper like this, because he's double checking visually as they play, he's putting a check because we want to make absolutely sure that the advertisers' commercials play exactly when they want them to play, and that we live up to our promise. So we double check everything, manually and computer. So this log is also in the computer. This is what's happening right now, but over on the left-hand side of the screen is the entire day's log. You can even scan ahead and see what's ahead. We'll turn that back so Eric can see what's going on. Oh, good song. Crank it. Control panel in this studio is exactly the same as the FM side. The computers are interconnected. We want it to be as familiar as possible for all of the announcers so that no matter which of the two stations they're operating on, they will feel the same, look the same, operate the same. Back here behind Eric is a lot of related equipment. This equipment up here monitors what's happening back at the transmitter, which is in a separate location. So rather than running back there all the time to make sure the transmitting equipment is operating okay, we can monitor the modulation and how much power out. We can even control it from here. These are equalizers here, and people at home maybe are used to having their stereo equalizer that they can control their highs and lows. In broadcast, we actually control that before the signal even leaves. So we can control how high and how low we want our audio with the equipment that's here and also back at the transmitter site. And this is our emergency alert system, which is tied into the federal government and other emergency national, state, and local emergency networks that actually sometimes when people are listening to the station and in the middle of a song, they'll hear this funny little and then here is the NOAA voice from the Moline Airport warning us about some severe weather. This equipment allows the Weather Bureau to take over control of our radio station in an emergency. And various official agencies, with our permission, can also take advantage of that. It's just instantaneous emergency alert system. Some of the programming that we do over KWPC comes to us on a reel machine, and that's why that is here. And then this equipment all down here has to do with our remote studio. We commonly in the station call it a Marty, and it's because Marty, M-A-R-T-I, is the manufacturer, the most recognized manufacturer of equipment for radio broadcast stations that are mobile. And this receives our mobile studio, and we have a rotating antenna on top of the roof that we can point the high gain antenna in the direction of where the mobile studio would be. And with this, we can have our studio go out up to about 30 miles and broadcast from anywhere. We just keep turning the high gain antenna to find them. And so that's what KWPC looks like. It is the voice of Muscatine, the community radio station. We're real interactive with the community. Okay, this is the KWCC control room. I'm going to prop this door open. Now this is a fun radio station to explain because this radio station right now is running itself. You can kind of pan it. We have guest DJs that come in sometimes and they use this microphone here. As you scan up to the left side, over in here, that's the monitoring equipment for this radio station, just like the other one, so that we can tell what's happening at the transmitter, which you saw earlier. This radio station doesn't seem to have as much equipment in it as the other one, because this one is only 2 years old, and we constructed it with the latest state-of-the-art equipment that was available at that time, and there are no other pieces of equipment. This has got a very sophisticated broadcast computer system. Everything's on the computer, and right now it is actually running itself. It's in a full automation mode. The music is on the hard drive. Now, the reason I was telling you, Matt, that this is the first true completely digital radio station between Chicago and Denver. There's other radio stations that call themselves digital, but what they're really referring to when they say that is, oh, we've got a computer and our music is on the hard drive and all of our audio and commercials is played off the computer. And yes, that is digital, but what we're talking about digital is we receive our updated music each week on a CD. This is from a music consulting firm in Seattle that we use to help us have the kind of music mix that we want. So when we receive the CD, which is digital, we load it into the hard drive of the computer, so it's still digital. And we run it through the mixing board digital, and then it goes into that transmitter room equipment that Tim was showing you. It is processed, still digital, and it even goes through the first, I think it's 22 watts of transmitting that's still digital, is it, Tim?
You're talking the exciter?
Yeah.
The digital output of it? Yeah. Yeah. Goes into the amplifier.
About 22 watts, and then when it goes to the amplifier stage to get up to the high power, that's when it gets converted back to analog. What makes the big difference, though, is because it's digital, a complete digital chain, is at the end, you hear everything, every little. If you're a music connoisseur, just listen to 93.1 for a little bit, and then you can go back to whatever your other favorite radio station might be. But you'll notice a difference. It's incredible the way you hear all the basses, all the highs, all the instruments in between, where other FM stations, most of them anyway, it's just a loud sound, and usually a lot of bass. But there is a difference. We call it the digital difference. Some people say, well, what does KWCC do? Those call letters stand for anything? Well, kilowatts of continuous country is what we usually say, but it could also be crystal clear for CC, because it is absolutely crystal clear. On most FM radio stations, if you stopped pumping the audio, in other words, just stop sending audio, and all you would have is what engineers call dead air. On most every FM radio station, if you did that, what you would hear would be a it's called inherent noise. It's just like that. If you stop pumping audio on this radio station, you hear nothing, because digitally, noise does not have sound. We have live announcers in here Monday through Saturday from 6 to 10 in the morning, and in the afternoon from 3 to 7. And so they're really here, and they're happy to answer the phone, and we love to put callers on the air. The rest of the time, we pre-program it. On this station now, look at what this monitor's doing right now.
Your own personal webpage and no long
Muscatine Information Services commercial playing, then 7 Ponds, then somebody's going to say how nice we are, and then Dwight, you'll complain
going to sing.
Yeah, yeah, wow, wow. Get your yayas in the
And in
wah-wah
here,
instead of
Jeff
bonds,
Marlowe has
60
pre-recorded
hours per year,
a
Summer Fun Park.
21-second
Take your yaya to the beach
insert,
and go swimming,
but
go
you
down the
listen
water
to it
slide,
and you'd
play
swear the
volleyball,
announcer
putt-putt golf,
is
go
in
camping
here.
and fishing
It's
at
hard to
Summer
tell
Fun
when
Park.
it's
Your
live
yaya
and when
will
it's
love riding the
automated.
pedal boats and canoes. Then take your yaya to Grandpa Bill's farm for indoor golf, farm animals, hay rides, and more. Whether you have a big yaya or a little one, your yaya will be in for fun at Seven Ponds Park, just south of Minneapolis in Sperry, Iowa.
93 Country.
Here we go, Dwight Yoakam, my personal favorite country artist. You tell him, Dwight. So that's what 93 Country looks like. Well, I don't think we missed anything, did we, man?
I don't think we have.
No. Do you have any questions? You want to go up to my office and visit, or
No, I think that about covers it.
think we got it covered?
I think we got it
I'm
covered.
sure glad you came out, and I'm glad you're watching. We love our radio station, and we like to show it to people. We're having a lot of fun. We got the best jobs in the world.
Thank you.
Well,